Itachi Uchiha awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan after witnessing the death of his best friend, Shisui Uchiha, shortly before the Uchiha clan downfall. With either Mangekyo, he could use Tsukiyomi, an extremely powerful genjutsu that distorts the victim's perception of time. With his right Mangekyo, he could use Amaterasu, creating inextinguishable black flames at the user's focal point. Since he awakened both his Mangekyo, he could use also Susanoo. Because both Tsukiyomi and Amaterasu use vast amounts of chakra, combined with his terminal illness, multiple uses of the Mangekyo abilities in a short period of time was particularly debilitating for Itachi, such that after using it 3 times in one day, he was required to deactivate even his normal Sharingan to conserve energy. Sometime after Itachi's death, Sasuke Uchiha, desiring the power to kill Naruto, had Itachi's eyes transplanted into him. Years later, the left eye was destroyed by Mangekyo Otsutsuki. Obito Uchiha awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan after witnessing the death of Rin Nohara during the Third Shinobi World War. Obito only had his right eye at the time, but the event caused his Mangekyo to simultaneously awaken in Kakashi Hatake, who wielded Obito's left eye. Obito's eyes contained Kamui, power to teleport oneself and others to Kamui's dimension. Kamui had 2 aspects, one contained within each eye. Obito's right eye used Kamui to seamlessly transport parts or all of his body and those in contact with him in the dimension, giving the appearance of being able to pass through solid objects. Any part of Obito moves into the dimension was concurrently vulnerable to attack from there. Kakashi's left eye was able to use Kamui at a long range by producing a small portal with an attractive force that pulled things into the other dimension, whole or in part. The left eye could also target the users themselves for complete teleporting. During the 4th Shinobi World War, it was discovered that each eye was impervious to the other's Kamui. Madara Uchiha stole Kakashi's eye in order to pursue Obito to Kamui's dimension. There he exchanged the eye for Obito's Rinnegan, returning both eyes to the original owner, who was currently controlled by Black Zetsu. During this brief period, Black Zetsu also gained access to both Sharingan powers. After Obito was freed from Black Zetsu's control, he used them in combination effectively thereafter to retrieve Sasuke from Kage Otsutsuki's distant dimension. But soon afterwards, both of his eyes are destroyed when he was killed by Kage Otsutsuki's all-killing ash bones. Using his small amounts of 6-path chakra, Obito's spirit briefly returned to the living plane and inhabited Kakashi, manifesting both Mangekyo with their respective abilities through Kakashi and by extension, the Susanoo. Madara Uchiha was the first Uchiha to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. It's not known what the individual abilities of each eyes were, but he was able to use Susanoo. The straight Tomoe of his Mangekyo Sharingan granted him fluidity in his movements when fighting. When Madara's overusage of his Mangekyo during the Warring States period left him blind, this prompted his brother Izuna to bequeath Madara his eyes on his deathbed, for the sake of preserving the Uchiha, thus granting Madara the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Many, however, came to believe that Madara forcibly stole the eyes from his brother. Towards the end of his life, Madara was able to evolve his eyes into the Rinnegan, which he transplanted to Nagato when Nagato was a child without anybody ever knowing. For the 4th Shinobi World War, Obito wielded Madara's left Rinnegan, as wielding both would have been too strenuous. Eventually, both eyes found their way back to Madara after he was revived. Izuna Uchiha awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan shortly after Madara did. It's not known what the individual abilities of each eyes were though. Before he died, Izuna entrusted his eyes to Madara in order to restore his vision and thus protect the Uchiha from extinction. Despite Izuna giving the eyes willingly, Madara is popularly believed to have taken the eyes by force. Sasuke Uchiha awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan after witnessing his older brother Itachi die in battle with him and learning the truth behind his actions. With either eye, Sasuke can cast Amaterasu as well as shape and extinguish them. Because he awakened both his Mangekyo, he can use Susanoo as well. The straight Tomoe of his Mangekyo Sharingan grant him fluidity in his movement when fighting, just like Madara Uchiha. Sasuke initially reluctant to transplant Itachi's eyes and gained the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, claiming that his views were different from Itachi's. Later, he decided he needs the increase of strength in order to kill Naruto. Along with the severe deterioration of his eyesight from overuse, Sasuke accepted Itachi's eyes as transplants. After acquiring the half of Hagaromo Otsutsuki's chakra, Sasuke's left eye evolved further into the Rinnegan. While Sasuke is evidently unable to deactivate the Rinnegan, it still retains access to all of the left Mangekyo's abilities. This eye would later be destroyed by Boruto Uzumaki while being controlled by Mangekyo Otsutsuki. Shisui Uchiha awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan after the guilt of allowing his friend and rival to die. With each of his eyes, he could use Koro Omatsukame, a powerful genjutsu that manipulates a target's thoughts so perfectly and absolutely that no one, including the target themselves, would have the slightest idea that they're being controlled. However, this technique couldn't be used with the same eyes again until a period of time. In the anime, awakening the Mangekyo Sharingan in both eyes allowed him to use the Susanoo. When Shisui attempted to use the Koro Omatsukame in order to avert the Uchiha clan downfall, his right eye was stolen by Danzo Shimura. who felt Shisui's plan was futile and wished to protect the village in his own manner. Fearful that Danzo would take his other eye too, Shisui entrusted it to his best friend Itachi and begged him to use it to save Konoha. Danzo transplants the eye he took into himself and uses it over the years to manipulate others into his way of thinking, using the chakra of Hashirama Senju to reduce its recharge time. Danzo destroyed the eye before his death so that nobody else could have it. Itachi would transplant the eye he was given into a crow that he planned to use to re-ally his brother Sasuke with Konoha. He used it on himself instead when he was reincarnated in order to break free of Kabuto's control. Itachi would later incinerate the crow afterwards so that nobody else could have the eye as well. In the manga, Indra Otsutsuki was the first user of the Mangekyo Sharingan. The individual abilities of each of his eyes were unknown except that he was also able to use the Susanoo. Whereas in the anime, he awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan after killing 2 of his followers, and with his left eye he was able to use Hinagakusuchi to produce black flames. In Naruto x Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections, Indra had also the ability to use Amaterasu. Shin Uchiha from the Boruto series was someone who also possessed the Mangekyo Sharingan. This Mangekyo Sharingan form was uniquely shared between multiple individuals. With his right eye, Shin Uchiha was able to telekinetically manipulate any objects after first branding them with a special mark that he placed by direct contact with his hand. Shin's clones, being genetically identical to him, possessed the same Mangekyo Sharingan design, and with it the same telekinetic powers. A creature also shares the same Mangekyo Sharingan design with Shin. Despite having multiple Mangekyo Sharingans, neither Shin nor his clones displayed the ability to use Susanoo. In the anime, Fugaku Uchiha had awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan after witnessing a sacrifice of his dear friend during the Third Shinobi World War. Although not much is known about his Mangekyo since it was only shown during one scene. Fugaku was confident that it was strong enough to control the 9 tails. In the anime, Hagaromo Otsutsuki awakened this power after risking his brother Hamuro's life to save him from their mother Kaguya's control. However, the design of his Mangekyo Sharingan is unknown because his eyes evolved into the Rinnegan at the same time. This unique simultaneous evolution apparently gave Hagoromo the same stability from using his Mangekyo techniques that would normally only come from an internal Mangekyo Sharingan. While the individual techniques his eyes had are unknown, he's able to create an exceptionally massive complete body Susanoo, which was roughly the size of the 10 tails. Sarada Uchiha at the age of 12 would go on to awaken her Mangekyo Sharingan as a result of deep anguish and worry for Boruto's safety after Ada swapped everyone's memories of him with their memories of Kawaki, who told everyone that Naruto had been killed by Boruto. Its design is a circular with 8 triangles in a sunburst pattern. Sarada's awakening was extremely rare, if not unique in circumstances, as it was out of fear of losing a loved one, rather than the anguish of actually losing them. In Naruto x Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections, Hikari Uchiha awakened her Mangekyo Sharingan at some point during the Warring States period. Much like Itachi, Nanashi was able to use both Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu, as well as control the shape of the black flames produced by the latter. In addition, she could also use 2 powerful genjutsus, the engraved Tsukuyomi, a technique that's similar to the infinite Tsukuyomi, in which she reflected the light of her Mangekyo Sharingan off of the moon to brand all of those caught within it with a mark resembling her Mangekyo Sharingan, and Yachihoko, which allowed her to control the minds and chakra of everyone branded by the marking of the engraved Tsukuyomi, all the while erasing their memories. Mers, who had a pair of artificial Sharingan that could take on Mangekyo state resembling Nanashi's, could also use the aforementioned techniques in addition to be able to use a Susanoo much larger than Sasuke's own and Naruto's tail beast mode.